Greetings and welcome to the 56th episode of Retro Rant. It is time we return to my beloved Amstrad CPC, taking a look at an absolute classic and putting it to the Rant Test. We're talking about Boulder Dash, originally released by First Star in 1984 for the Atari 8-bits and ported to the Amstrad a year later in 1985, making this one of the first non-Amsoft games out there for Alan Sugar's baby. Being a huge commercial success, it was ported to every machine under the sun, and it also spawned numerous sequels and infinite clones. Of course, this is Retro Rant, a channel where no software is sacred and no game is beyond criticism. If you have been living under a boulder for the past 40 years and don't know what Boulder Dash is, you control an ant-like creature called Rockford, which is an unusual name for an ant. Please comment below what names you have given to your pet ants. Now Rockford is a special ant because unlike most ants, he doesn't care about breadcrumbs and such, but he craves diamonds. After all, diamonds are an ant's best friend or something like that, and Rockford is in a bit of a pickle since he has no house to put in mortgage or steady income to apply for a loan so as to buy diamonds. Instead, he must traverse some dangerous mines and collect these precious stones, of course putting his head on the line. Considering that this is an early Amstrad game, the graphics are charming and I have to say they have aged very well. I loved the color changes between levels as well as the nice visual effects. The port is quite faithful to the Atari original, and the only thing I disliked is the jerky push scrolling. Of course, this plagued the original game as well, but it was somewhat smoother. And this makes a considerable difference in the gameplay, since Boulder Dash is a game of skill, so this jerkiness really works against you. The animation is also non-existent, but I feel that this is acceptable for this kind of game. The sound is my least favorite part of the game. Apart from the acceptable title screen, there is no music in game and the sound effects range from average to outright migraine-inducing. Especially the jingle when changing level is long enough to drive one around the bend. Even now, reaching the end of a level induces horror in me in anticipation of this awful sound, which reminds me of a group of giant ants from It Came from the Desert gang-raping the poor AY chip. And the gameplay is good, but not exceptional. Even though the premise of the game is simple and addictive, the difficulty ramps up quickly and the later levels become very tricky to tackle. The level design is above average with cool concepts, but I feel that the levels drag on and they ultimately lose their focus a bit. The movement is in a grid, like Worthy, which we have already covered, but unlike Worthy, this mechanic works here, although you are sure to make numerous mistakes while running away from boulders and enemies, even though you have strategized perfectly what you must do. There is a lot of thinking involved, and I definitely like that, but the action is so fast that you have to be almost perfect in everything you do to avoid getting killed by the bodies or being crushed by the boulders. Of course, again like Worthy, death means the all-time gamer favorite having to restart the level from scratch. I enjoyed the various enemies and thinking of the ways to exploit their various traits, but I would have liked some breathing room to implement my devious ant strategies. Thankfully, the controls of the game are very solid, but the jerky scrolling works against the feeling of actually being in control. You can implement some nice tricks, like destroying Earth from an adjacent square without moving there, and this technique becomes very important very quickly. As far as quality of life is concerned, the game suffers because of a time limit which isn't always generous, but at least you can choose the beginning level. Overall, Boulder Dash is an okay game that is very nicely designed, but it is too jerky and unforgiving to become a retro rant favorite. It is an impressive and faithful port, especially for an early Amstrad game, but it is let down by its jerkiness and cruel difficulty, one that certainly was acceptable in '84, but I am not sure about today's standards. So that's it for now, and I'll see you next time!